Next forum, I will be asking you for your opening and closing statements, and Ms. Lindstrom will be asking you the questions. Wait for our timer. Mr. Bill Marsh. Oh, we're not pushing it. We're just announcing it. We're saying thank you. Okay, again, gentlemen, yellow card, 30 seconds, red card, wrap it up, 2 minutes. Mr. Bennett, please open up with a 2-minute opening statement.
All right, well, thank you for allowing me to be here. Today's a beautiful day. I agree with Mr. Helton today. Too close to her, but I agree with Mr. Helton. This county is just positively, absolutely beautiful. The people, just the best way I can say it, we have a piece of heaven here. I wasn't born and raised here. I'll be the first to tell you that. My wife and I bought a piece of land 22 and a half years ago from Raymond Thomas. We moved here right at 20 years. We've got kids in the school system. We've got 15 grandbabies. I've got 30 years in law enforcement. I've worked from patrol all the way up. I think what I'd love to be is the leader and the administrator for the Fannin County Sheriff's Department. That's my goal. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kirby, 2 minutes to open up, please.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm Dane Kirby. I've been serving as your sheriff for the last basically 8 years. I'm getting ready to finish up my second term as your sheriff, and I'm seeking re-election again. I'm not going to do a big long introduction because I think I know most everybody here, most everybody knows me, but I would like to say that I believe in the Constitution of the United States, and I believe in the Constitution of the state of Georgia. And I took an oath to uphold both of them, and I have every intention of doing that as long as I'm your sheriff. We've made absolutely sure that during my administration as your sheriff, during my last 2 terms, that we've operated in a way that reflects those beliefs. We've spent a whole lot of time and taken a whole lot of measures trying to ensure that the people are able to be comfortable and to feel safe in their homes and that their property is protected. And we've diligently pursued the ones that have threatened any of those things, or threatened the very peace of mind that our people here in this county might have. But something else that we've also done too is we've also worked very hard to ensure that the rights of the accused have been protected as well. I know that there is a very strong sense of comfort and security that exists here in this special little piece of heaven that we call home here in Fannin County. And as long as I'm your sheriff, I'll make sure that that's never changed or compromised. So I really hope that the people of this county see fit to re-elect me as your sheriff, and if you do, I can promise you that myself and this group of guys that's been here with us today will continue to bust our hind ends just like we have for the last 8 years, for however long y'all see to keep us in there. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Searcy. 2 minutes to open.
I won't take that long, but I want to thank the Tea Party for giving us this opportunity, and thank all you for sticking around for this. I know it's been a long day and we've got things to do and places to be. My name is Johnny Searcy. I'm the Chief of Police in Blue Ridge, where I've been now for 25 years, serving the city of Blue Ridge. I have a total of 30, I'm working on my 35th year this year. I'm married to Brenda Ware Searcy now, and we have 2 children. Very proud of our boys. They're both in Texas. They're doing real well, and so this has been our life right here. I was born, raised here, went to school here, raised my family here. I've worked here my whole entire career. I want to be your sheriff because we got some new ideas that we want to bring. We want to change some things up. With your help, I can do that. I just want to tell you that May the 24th, you get to make a choice, and I hope that you choose Johnny. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, 2-minute opening statement.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today and staying around while we do our little thing here. I'd like to thank the Tea Party for for putting this on and allowing us to be here. I don't believe there's anybody in this audience who's ever heard me speak or watched one of my videos that doesn't understand where I stand and what I stand on. And I stand on the principles of fairness and honesty and equalness under the law. No matter who you are, what your name is, how much money you got, the law is blind. We treat everybody the same. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. See this? We are all unified under this. There's a lot of good men and women that have died for this. And if you're looking for something to unify this county and unify this country, right here she is, buddy. Oh, glory. And she flies strong and she flies hard. She's not to be flown upside down, sideways, or backwards, stomped on, urinated on, or anything. And I'm going to tell you something. Under my administration, it won't happen. You'll be treated fairly and equally because I honor this like I honor you, the people. Whether you're good, bad, or indifferent, the law is the law, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time for a change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your opening statements, your 2 minutes of opening statements. This first question, Mr. Kirby, we'll start with you since we started here on the end with the opening statements. I have a short paragraph to read that was prepared by the Candidates Forum Committee, so listen to that and then I will ask you the question. The state's new criminal justice reform law aims to keep nonviolent offenders out of the state's prisons. It does so by changing sentencing requirements for theft and burglaries and by pushing rehabilitation for repeat drug offenders. Some law enforcement officials believe that this law would in fact result in more criminals in Fannin County and place more of a burden on deputies. So the question is, what is your position on this? Do you think the new law makes it harder to enforce the laws and protect Fannin County because there will be more people out there that would have been locked up in jail? Mr. Kirby, your thoughts first, and if I can repeat any of that.
No, I'm good with it.
Okay.
You know, I've been very aware of this ever since it started, and I'm very up on it. I know just exactly what you're talking about, and I'll be honest, I'd be lying to you if I told you that I wasn't just a little bit nervous and reluctant to accept this when it first started coming around. But when I realized what the purpose of it was and what the reason was behind it, it really got my attention, and it didn't take long to figure out that there was a tremendous amount of thought that went into reforming Georgia's criminal justice system. Doing the same old thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result is, the attitude of a fool. And, when the General Assembly realized that Georgia's prison budget was up to over $1 billion, I think they figured out it was time for them to step in and do what they needed the right thing to do. So that's exactly what they did. And the way this works is they have put a whole lot of, they get a little bit more specific with the way they're dealing with individuals. And, they've created the accountability court programs, which have been a tremendous success. And even along those lines, I was a little bit nervous and a little bit reluctant about what kind of effect that might have about putting people back out on the streets that didn't really need to be there. But what I found out was that the supervision that these people get, there's somebody in their home all the time. They have a very detailed and outlined criteria that they have to meet and schedule that they have to follow. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the people that are actually doing this supervising are people that work in law enforcement. And they work in these communities. They work in my office. They do all this stuff part-time. So, I think that the program has been a tremendous success, and I'm very proud of where it's at.
Thank you very much. Mr. Searcy, would you like me to repeat the paragraph in the question?
No, I understand.
You got it?
Thank you. You're right, it does put a burden on law enforcement. But there again, that's why I was talking about the proactive approach. If we can set up something to where people may have a family member or something that may have some trouble saving their lives, drugs being one, we're offering, I want to offer somebody the opportunity. If you're seeking help, come see us, talk to us. We're not out to, the first thing is just not to throw you in jail. I mean, if we can get you to where we can help you before you start wanting to go further by committing crime, then we've done something. Because overcrowdedness in the prison systems is a problem. It's costing the taxpayers a ton of money. So you just never stop. There's many approaches that you take, but I think a proactive approach, what we've been studying and looking at, is what I would like to see happen.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Taylor, what's your position? Do you think the new law makes it harder to enforce the laws and protect Fannin County because there are more people out there that would have been locked up in jail? What's your position?
You're talking about non-violent offenders, you're talking about drug dealers and those that would do us harm. I'm 100% against releasing any drug dealer that hadn't been tried and convicted. I don't believe that we need to worry about our prison systems as much as we do our people. I believe that if you take a drug dealer and you release him early, you're turning him back into the same community for the same reason he's doing the same harm. If you think that you can keep your eye on a drug dealer continuously or somebody that's turned loose, you're sadly mistaken. History shows that those that do crime do crime. I believe 100% in rehabilitation, but I don't believe we should ever turn a drug dealer loose back in our communities. And that's my stand.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bennett, what is your position? And if you need me to repeat this, please let me know.
No, I'm good with it. I agree, yes. We have to go back to where we first started in law enforcement, you know. A lot of research and a lot of time has gone into putting these laws together and changes and so forth. I agree with Dane that talks about the budgets. It's a lot of cost. The prisons are full. Let's face it, when a man gets on drugs, or a lady, there's no medicine to cure it. And the only thing that's going to cure it is a whole lot of support, working with them, and with our drug court that we have now, it's doing a good job. No, they're not getting them all. No, and we will never save them all. But our hope is to try. So I have to agree, the system is what we have, and it's put in our hands under the Constitution. That's who we work with, and this is what we have to go with. I agree, it's working.
Both Mr. Bennett and Mr. Kirby have already mentioned our accountability courts, and this question is about accountability courts. Do you believe the accountability courts for drug offenders and criminals with mental health issues are a positive step? If you believe that they are, explain, and if you don't believe that they are, please explain. And Mr. Searcy, we're going to start with you on this question.
Repeat with me again. Say it again.
I didn't get you again either.
What? I'm sorry?
Say it again.
Repeat it, yes, sure. Do you believe that the accountability courts, like our drug accountability courts, mental health courts, for drug offenders and criminals with mental health issues are a positive step? If you believe that they are, explain that, and if not, why not?
Anytime you help anybody with a drug or mental problem, I mean, anything you're doing is a good step. So, I mean, a lot of those programs are. The thing about it is just like, I think that there needs to be a time, even if they go through these programs, and I'm sure that they're probably looking at it, you probably need to keep a check on them, you know, some kind of probationary periods where you can make sure everybody's staying on track. Now, the mental handicap, that's a serious issue right there that in our government really, it's made it hard in law enforcement, and these people here will tell you, when you deal with the mental ill, it's been a lot hard for us to find a lot of help for them, but all those programs are pretty decent, I think.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Taylor, your opinion on the question. Do you believe that accountability courts for drug offenders and criminals with mental health issues are a positive step? And explain your opinion.
I believe that anything we do for the mental health system or those that are mentally affected is a positive thing. But we need to understand that mental health is different than drug health. If you've got somebody that's a drug addict, that's different than somebody that's mentally ill or mentally ill on drugs. I believe that any way we can control and protect society is our duty and our obligation. I wouldn't be 100% for it or 100% against it. I'd have to do a little more research on it. But I've dealt with the mentally handicapped. I've hauled many of them to several mental institutions, and I see the problem escalating over and over. I don't see they're getting the help that they need, really. So the accountability court, if it can hold that person accountable with the proper help that they need, I would be 100% for it.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Bennett, to you, that same question. What are your thoughts on accountability courts for drug offenders and criminals with mental health issues? Are those courts a positive step, and explain your thoughts?
Absolutely, but it goes back to being overburdened again. I went through the ACT program a year or two ago, and they are so overworked. But it's the only system we had at the time. And I really believe their heart is there, their minds are there. They put it together. They have the funds for it. Let's face it, if we didn't have that, our prisons people would be popping out the windows. So we've got to do something. If we can do any kind of effort to help folks, try to work with them. No, we're not going to get them all, I'm telling you. But the ones that we do save, I think we've done a Christian thing. We've done it.
Thank you very much. And Sheriff Kirby, you're the last to answer the question. What are your thoughts on accountability courts? Because you have alluded to those in your answers before. Do you think that they're a positive step, and what's your opinion on them?
I'll tell you, when we started practicing the mental health court specifically, we've already talked about the drug court, so I'm going to spend just a little time teaching people about the mental health court here. I was probably the happiest individual that you could have found, because jails have long since been a landing zone for people's mental issues, and they shouldn't be. But they end up in our jails because they commit some minor offense, and their current situation, whether it be their living situation or wherever they're at, is not working for them, and their family or their guardians just are at their wits' end with them, and they don't know what else to do. So they end up in our jails because they've committed some minor offense, and then it kind of becomes our responsibility to figure out what to do with them. So it's painfully obvious to us all the time in these cases that jail is not the place for these people. And when they created the mental health court, which came after the drug court, and I think the veterans court was right there about the same time, it really did give us an avenue to be able to do something a whole lot more appropriate with these people than just house them in jail. So that's the purpose behind the program there. Now the treatment end of it goes a whole lot deeper than that, but as far as law enforcement's concerned, that's the way that it affects us.
Thank you very much. The next question is about the Zell Miller Mountain Parkway Drug Task Force. And Mr. Taylor, this question comes to you first. Fannin County currently does participate in the Zell Miller Mountain Parkway Drug Task Force. If you are elected, would you be in favor of continuing the participation, and why or why not?
Well, young lady, I'd have to evaluate that situation. I'm going on second-hand, third-hand information. I'd have to be there to tell you whether it would. I've worked with a lot of drug task force. I've seen some that are good and some that weren't, to be honest with you. I've seen some that accomplished a lot, some that didn't accomplish anything. They sat behind their desk with their feet kicked up and didn't do anything. So the question like that, Dane would have to answer that since he's there. As far as I'm concerned, I would evaluate the situation, act appropriately for what's best for the citizens of this county, and to rid this place of drugs. That's my goal.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bennett, the question to you, that Fannin County does participate in the Zell Miller Mountain Parkway Drug Task Force. That's a long name. If you are elected as our sheriff, are you in support of continuing the participation, or what are your thoughts on that?
No, the experience I've had with it, I'm not real happy with it. I just want a little more in Fannin County. That's why I said if I was to be elected your leader, I want to restructure and find the money. I would love to have 2 or 3 agents of my own. I really don't think I'm dreaming. I believe I can do it. This way, I can put a little more control and keep the folks in our county working. I've seen it happen before, and I know it works. So I'm against it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sheriff Kirby, your administration supports and participates in that Zell Miller Mountain Parkway Drug Task Force. What are your thoughts on how that works in your administration?
Okay, our task force is set up through our 3-county circuit. Their office is in Pickens County, and we operate off of a $159,000 federal grant annually that is matched by funds in the amount of roughly $40,000 from each of the 3 counties in our circuit, which is Fannin, Gilmer, and Pickens County. Now, what you have to keep in mind here, one of the most important things is this. If any one of those 3 counties decide to stop that funding, that task force is gone. Their federal funding will be stopped at that point, and you're affecting drug operations in 3 counties, your entire judicial circuit. Now, that task force is not set up, nor are they expected to work all of the drug cases in any of those counties, including Fannin County. That's why we have partnerships with the GBI, we have partnerships with the DEA, we have partnerships with our own office, if that's proper to say, but we work a lot of drug cases out of our own office. The drug task force is nothing more than a force multiplier. And when you take the amount of money that it costs us to participate in that unit every year, it's not enough if you took that money back and circulated it through your own office to make any kind of difference whatsoever. When you pull out of drug task forces, there's things that you need to realize. First of all, if you want to use Union County as an example, look what happened to Union County's budget when they did it. They spend $500,000 more on their sheriff's office every year than we spend here in Fannin County. We're still operating on nearly the exact same amount of money today as we were in 2010, which was my first budget year as sheriff. Even though our budget may have gone up about $100 and something thousand over the course of 6 years, we're still not spending all that money. Our spent figures are where they were in 2010, and the Union County Sheriff's Office budget goes up nearly $200,000 every single year. So it's a big financial issue as well.
Thank you very much. And the final person to answer this question is Mr. Searcy, that Fannin County does currently participate in the Mountain Parkway Drug Task Force. Are you in favor of continuing the participation, and what are your thoughts on it?
No, I'm not. I'm in favor of doing my own. I'm in favor of taking care of Fannin County. Now, the sheriff made a statement yesterday that we didn't have a drug problem, so I don't see why this should be such a big issue. But according to Union County, and I've got it right here, it's from the sheriff itself, it says right here that the sheriff's office produced over $500,000 just in seized narcotics division seizures and other land and cash. So we have this here. My issue is this. It's going to be my responsibility to see to you that I maintain my budget. And that's something that I'm going to do. Now, we can sit here and say, I'm for it, I'm against it, I'm for it. Well, that's good. My views is I'm against it because I want to do it myself. I'm not in Pickens County, I'm not in Gilmer County, I'm in Fannin County. I care about Fannin County, and I'm going to do what I can to make sure that we do within our budget the job that needs to be done that you pay us to do. If I can save money and use that money and utilize it other places to where I can get it to where I can train people, I've succeeded. As long as I stay within my budget and make you a promise that I'm going to fight drugs in Fannin County. And it's going to be 24/7. It's not going to be, hey, can you come up next week and work a couple drug cases for me? I need you up here. No, it's going to be happening 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That's the difference in what we all say up here. Yes, you can get the grants and all this. I'll still be able to work with the DEA. I'll still be able to work with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. And I'll still be able to work with Pickens, Gilmer, Fannin, Union, Towns, Lumpkin. Who all's here? We all work together. All of us is experienced law enforcement officers here. We all know the keys and the ins and the outs of what we're doing. The key factor here in this case right here is what are you going to do when it's your time, just like she asked me. I'm going to stop it because we're going to do it ourselves.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we have one more question, and this one we'll start with Mr. Bennett and just go down the line. If you are elected sheriff, what is the first change that you will make to the sheriff's office? And this is our last question before you do closing statements. So what is the first change you would make if elected, Mr. Bennett?
Well, to start, I'm going to have to get in there and do an evaluation. But of course, I think the first change is just what we just talked about. Is I want to change the drug program. That'll probably be my first. Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Kirby, we'll go to you. If re-elected into the office, what will be the first thing that you do stepping back into your office?
Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is forget about the election. I can tell you that right now. But I'll be glad to put that behind me, and I know all y'all will too. You know, our changes are based on what comes our way. You know, we've gone through and seen a whole lot of different trends occur here in Fannin County, and you know, some of them we see coming, some of them we don't. Some of them we can get out in front of, some of them we can't. You know, they just smack us in the face all of a sudden, and one day they're there. So, you know, we have to be willing to change pretty quickly sometimes, and come up with a plan or come up with a way to deal with a problem. And, you know, that's kind of the way that we've always done business. I've been in office for 8 years now, and there was certainly some things that I wanted to get done. And, you know, we've pretty well got the things done that I want to do, but then you have all these things that keep popping up continually that you have to deal with, so that you spend a whole lot of time dealing with things like that and maintaining what you've already got in place. And that's kind of the way our office operates, and kind of the way we find ourselves spending our time these days. But you know, change is kind of brought to us, and it's kind of hard to predict what the next thing's going to be. I tell you one thing that is really a hot topic right now that I'm a little bit disappointed has not even been mentioned at all during this campaign, is all the financial crimes that are occurring out here. How many people have you talked to that says the IRS called me today, want me to send them money? I mean, I know there's people in the crowd that have had that happen to them. We work countless cases of people who have been defrauded. You got identity thefts going on out here. And this is a real problem, because it's nearly impossible to trace this stuff back. It's got overseas roots. It's actually got roots inside the prison system at certain times with the cell phone problem that they're having there. And you know, just there's a whole lot of things that you got to be able to find a way to deal with the best you can. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, for Chief Searcy, this question is for you. What is the first thing that you would do if you are elected sheriff of Fannin County?
I'm gonna change that sign on the building. No, really, I'm not, you know.
They asked, didn't they, what's the first thing you do?
I'm gonna have me a bigger sign out there, like Donald Trump, big wall. No, what I'm gonna do is that, you know, going in there, I'm gonna learn everything. I wanna see how, I've got my ideas of the way I've run things my whole time, and I know it's gonna be a change, but I wanna go in there and get the specifics down to what I need to know. I want to check that jail out good. I want to talk with the men. I want to see everything that I know is what I need to know. I want to hands-on. I want to know it all, you know, everything I can learn. Other than that, then we're going to get down to business, and we're going to start taking care of what we need to take care of to take care of you, the taxpayer. So other than that and the sign's pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Taylor, to you. If elected sheriff of Fannin County, what's the first thing that you will do?
I'm going to change the attitude. I'm going to change the attitude of the people toward the sheriff's department, and the sheriff's department toward the people. I'm going to change the attitude of the drug dealers and those who would do us harm in this county. I'm going to make them afraid. They're going to get up in the morning afraid. They're going to go to bed at night afraid. I'm going to change the realities of some people and show them what professional law enforcement is. They're going to be out there. They're going to be writing reports when they come. You're not going to be asking for a report a week later and it not be there. We're going to change the perception of everything in this county, and we're going to bring that perception to a higher level, because we're going to be honest, we're going to be determined, and we're going to rid this county of the problems that it has. That's what a sheriff does. He serves the people. So I think the first thing I'm going to change is the attitudes. Then we'll get into the jails. We'll get into the guys that are working. We'll help them. We'll get them finally trained. We'll do community policing. You'll see a deputy drive by. He's going to stop and speak to you. It's what I was trained to do, was community policing, because everybody in this county is important, and this county definitely needs a change. I like to be that change, folks, but now that's entirely up to you. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the questions, and now we're going to closing statements, and according to what we have here, Mr. Kirby, you're first to close, 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I appreciate everybody taking the time to come out and be here with us today, and hopefully we've been able to give you something that's beneficial to you and educate you on some things that you might not have known about. But, you know, I've been your sheriff now for 8 years. I've been involved in a lot of different aspects of the sheriff's office that a lot of sheriffs don't normally get involved in. I've had my nose stuck in a lot of this legislative stuff, the criminal justice reform stuff. I'm very familiar with it. The asset forfeiture legislation that's, that the sheriffs fight every year, trying to keep this thing beat back to where, we still have the ability and capability to use the asset forfeiture funds the way that we have been. I've been involved in a lot of different aspects of law enforcement since I've been sheriff. And not only has that helped me away from home to be versed on the issues that we deal with, but it's helped me out a whole lot here at home as well. I'm trained, I know what I'm doing, I've been there for 8 years, I know what to expect, and I know how to deal with it when it comes. We've got a good finger on the pulse of what's going on in this community and what the people's expectations of us is. We've kept our budget low. We're operating basically with the exact same amount of money today as we were when we took office 8 years ago. And I hope that we're able to continue to do that for quite some time. I'm certainly willing to. But we've got the job done, and hopefully we've got it done in a way that's acceptable and satisfactory to y'all, and that y'all will see fit to re-elect me. So thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Searcy, 2 minutes to close.
Well, thank you guys for doing what you're doing, and thank the Tea Party. Thank y'all for coming back out. I like the incumbent. I'm going to be happy when this thing's over too. But I want to tell you something. You have a choice this election, and I think that that choice is going to be a very important choice. There's going to be some change if you vote for Johnny Searcy. I'll just tell you. There's going to be change. It's going to be change for the better, I think. I think I'm going to bring new ideas that you're going to see. You're going to be able to see these ideas get going right in the first year. So I do need your help. I need your vote. And just remember, in an election, I know a lot of things are said, but Benjamin Franklin quoted that half-truths is often a great lie. So you just remember that. If you've got any questions to Johnny Searcy about anything that's being said about Johnny Searcy, you call Johnny Searcy, because I don't have to lie you, and I've got everything right here for you that you need to know about me. So I do need your vote. May the 24th, early vote's still going. But I want to say thank you for this today, and thank you guys here, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Taylor, 2 minutes to close, please.
You know, some of us are having trouble figuring out whether we have a drug problem or whether we don't. And I know I hammer drugs, and it may get boring to you, but let me tell you something. It was said that I'm passionate about drugs because I've got a son that's on drugs. And that's true. It's absolutely true. But I do know we have a drug problem. I do know that the sheriff's office is a full-service organization, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to hammer drugs. I'm going to take care of everything else because that's what we do, and I know how to do that. And I'm not wishy-washy. I'm not going to look at you today and tell you we have a drug problem, and if you elect me next year and ask me, I'm going to tell you we don't have one. We either do or we don't. You got to figure out which one we do. So my whole platform's been about drugs. Do I know how to service the community? Yes. I've done it for years. Done it for years. All aspects of law enforcement. And as Johnny said, if you elect me sheriff, there's going to be some changes made. I want to bring Fannin County to a new level. I want to make Fannin County the county that every other county looks at and models by. Now folks, I'm not going to ask you for your vote. I'm going to ask you to vote your conscience, because the life you save may be your own or one of your children. And I'm passionate about our children because that's our future. So you guys decide how you want to vote. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for showing up here. I know it's a great deal for some of you, and it's hot. I can tell you, it's hot. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. God bless you.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, 2 minutes to close, please.
I'll make it real quick. I know everyone's been here, and thank you for listening to us. And Johnny, when you get that sign made, it's B-E-N-N-E. Just spell it correct, okay? All right. I've got 30 years I've got here in my lifetime. I've been in a lot of aspects of law enforcement. I vow to utilize my training, my experience, knowledge, and compassion, everything I've got for this county. Now, I don't know how really to close this thing other than to tell you what George Washington, I read that statement not long ago, and he says, if a candidate wins but he loses his morals, then what has he won? Think about it. So, you will not hear no mud come from this mouth. I may say there's some things I'm going to change, yes, but you're not going to hear any mud. And I think the world of all these guys that are up here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And those are your candidates for Fannin County Sheriff. And again, we're sorry some of the forums have been a little short, but the ideal today was to make sure every candidate. Now, if you are a candidate and you